Rising defaults are a natural progression process, I guess, when you have a weakening currency and a slowing economy. Do you think, though, that when you look at these ratings downgrades, that we'll see more of this to come?
Morning, David. So, yeah, as you mentioned, about $2.5 billion of domestic bonds have defaulted this year, and that is about 3/4 of the 2016 tally, which was a record. And a lot of analysts are expecting the number this year to surpass the record in 2016. And you mentioned the downgrade. Yes, according to Gazunda ratings, there have been about 13 downgrades this year for domestic bonds versus 10 upgrades. So in terms of downgrade to upgrade ratio this year is the worst for China's domestic bonds. Therefore, if the government doesn't ease liquidity in a major way for Chinese corporations, so we're going to see more defaults and more rating downgrades.
Is the likely scenario, though, that the government comes in and bails out some of these distressed companies? I know they are allowing some companies to fail, but I guess the other thing is the last thing they need is for everything to sort of just go down the toilet.
Yeah, well, it seems from our observation, the government will only step in when it comes to a big company that has big impact in local economy and local employment. For example, HNA, the government has said banks should support HNA's bonds. And again, HNA is a huge company, global conglomerates, to be fair. So in that case, the government will step in. And again, even if they step in, the method is more of playing more of a coordinating role rather than injecting cash directly. So they are taking more of a market-oriented role in general. If it comes to a smaller company, they probably will more likely to let the smaller companies fail or sort out the restructurings by themselves.
Yeah, Lianting, in fact, some of our viewers might be wondering where we're getting the data for our clients. I'm just going to get our function up, RATGO. That's with a double T, just in case you're wondering. R8TT Go. It takes you to the screen. We're going to get it up just for our viewers to see credit ratings trends. I'm sure you look at this a lot, of course. You mentioned Gazunda. We've actually put that to that credit ratings agency. And you are seeing that. Upgrades 11, downgrades 13. So the ratio is skewed toward the red. How does this progress for the rest of this year? How is the default rate in China?
Well, the default rate, so as we talked about, the amount of defaulted bonds seems to be approaching a record high. But in terms of rate, it's still at a very low 0.39%, according to the PBOC data. Now, to put that into perspective, the default rate for Asian high-yield bond market in the first half is 1.9%. That's according to Goldman Sachs. So even though the default rate in China is set to rise, right now it's still at a very low level.